Hey, undirected team, how's it going, y'all? About to watch this video. It should be really interesting for a different reason than we're usually used to. Let's watch it and see what we got going on. This is the beginning of the video, so y'all haven't missed anything. It's about 9 minutes long.
It's the state's understanding that parents are in agreement to confirm arrears on this case and release all arrears owed to Ms. McCarty. The state is actually looking, Your Honor, at doing so as of February 28th of 2023, given that each parent's waiver of service was on file prior to that date.
All right.
That would make the...
Let's read this real quick up in the top corner. So SSI stands for Supplemental Security Income. Social Security administers this program. We pay monthly benefits to people with limited income and resources who are blind, age 65 or older, or have a qualifying disability. So that's what SSI stands for. If you've probably heard that before, you get SSI checks, you get like $800 a month of free money. Well, usually they have these issues, and I mean, you could call it free money, but if they didn't get SSI, they wouldn't get any money at all. So that's that.
The amount of child support arrears, $311,160.60.
Damn.
What was that again? I'm sorry.
311,160.
Okay.
And then 66 cents.
66. Okay.
The judge had to do a double take.
Ms. McCarty, excuse me, would be wanting to release that full amount, to which the state has no objection. On February 28th of 2023, the medical support arrearage was $56,014.43. The state has no objection to Ms. McCarty releasing $36,184.09, which would leave a judgment amount, Your Honor, of $19,830.34. Your Honor, testimony will show that Mr. Gott's only source of income is SSI in the $800 range. Additionally, he still sends money to his emancipated children. And so the state is just seeking an appropriate repayment amount to begin May 1st. And then per policy, Your Honor, it's the state's understanding you would be waiving costs due to that being Mr. Gott's only source of income.
All right. Yes, that's the norm. No problem. Today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth, so help you.
I do.
So basically what we got right now is a little bit new, because this woman right here, Amanda McCarthy, is basically saying that she's going to cancel out. So release of the back child support that he owes, which is over the kids' lives, which these two kids, they got two kids. They're both emancipated. So I don't think either parent has to take care of them because they're emancipated, basically meaning that before the age of 18, the parents and the kids basically sign them to be free. So they're no longer under the dictatorship of either parent. And so that's part of it. But somehow this guy accumulated $311,000 of child support. But Amanda, to everybody's dismay, basically said, you know what? I'm going to go to court with you, and we're going to get this wiped off so you no longer have this debt hanging over your head, which is going to be impossible for you to pay with a monthly income of SSI. So let's continue to watch. This is very interesting, team, and we'll talk about it more at the end of the video.
The state calls Amanda McCarty. Ma'am, what is your full name?
Amanda Jane McCarty.
Who are the children in this case?
Lindsay, Beth Gott, and Tanner Lee Gott.
How are you related to them?
I'm their mother.
Is it correct, ma'am, that your two children were no longer under 18 or in high school as of July of 2021?
That's correct.
Were you able to hear my opening statement to the court, ma'am?
Yes.
And was that your understanding of the issues we were going forward on today and the relief you were seeking?
Yes.
Based on your prior order, ma'am, the final divorce decree from 2006, Mr. Gott was ordered to pay support in this case, correct? Would you mind repeating, ma'am?
That's correct.
Thank you. And all of his payments were supposed to come through the state's disbursement unit. Was that your understanding?
Yes.
At this time, Your Honor, state offers into evidence State's Exhibit 1, the financial activity report in this case.
All right, folks, this is a thick one. But this is the financial activity report in your case. It shows what monies have been paid and not through the state disbursement unit. Is there any objection to court having this information, Ms. McCarthy?
No, sir.
He's been making
Any
payments.
objection, Mr. Gott?
No, sir.
All right, stage one's admitted. You may proceed, Ms. Mongat.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. McCarty, according to that financial activity report, is it your understanding that as of February 28th, 2023, Mr. Gott owed child support arrears in the amount of $311,160.66?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it correct today, ma'am, that you are wanting to release that entire amount?
Yes.
And so that would leave his child support arrears balance as zero?
Yes.
Shout out to her, man. Shout out to her. She did something not many women will ever do. Like, under every circumstance, she's trying to think about it. If this guy, now, let's say he kicks the bucket, right? And hopefully it's no time soon. But he has life insurance, which I don't know if he has it or not. Possibly not, being that he only gets SSI. But let's say he does, just for whatever. That money will go straight to her because that's a debt that you can't cancel out. And she just said, you know what, whatever. Like, I'm good. You know, I'm not gonna do that to this man. Like, we no longer have our kids. I don't need the money to pay for them. And I'm just gonna let it ride. Okay, so we got some text up at the top of the screen. Let's just read that real quick and then we'll finish with the video. For unmarried parents, this is good to know. When a baby is born to parents who are not married to each other, the law does not recognize the biological father as a legal parent. In other words, a biological father who is not married to the mother of their child does not have legal rights to his child until he becomes a legal parent. Paternity must be established first. So for all the guys out there and the women that have ever wondered why people say marry before you carry, as far as for the woman, and then they'll tell the man one of the main reasons to get married is to have children. Well, this is one of the reasons right here. Because if you have children with a woman that you are not married to, the state in which you have the child with in anywhere in America is what this is saying, is that they're not going to recognize you as the parent of the kid under any circumstance, unless at that point you get a DNA test that comes back 99.9% that you're the father. The strange thing about it, though, is that when it comes to child support and payments to the children, you can be put on child support without having a DNA test, which is strange. But when it comes to the legal part of it, so you could be paying child support as a parent, but then also at the same time not have any rights to your child, even though that you're paying for your child or for a child that may not even be yours. Because until you get a paternity test, mamas for sure, papas, we're not sure. But yeah, that's interesting. All right, let's finish up.
On that same date, ma'am, is it your understanding that he owed $56,014.43 on medical support arrears?
Yes.
And ma'am, you understand that the state can only agree to your release of $36,184.09?
Yes, I understand.
And so that would leave the medical support arrears balance, of $19,830.34.
Damn.
Yes.
And ma'am, do you have any preference as to what repayment is set at towards that $19,830.34?
I do not personally. I believe he will, since he is only on SSI income.
Was there anything else, ma'am, you wanted the court to consider at this time?
No, ma'am. That's it.
And actually, ma'am, are you doing this release of those arrears freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You've not been promised anything in return for such release?
No.
And there have been no threats of any kind to force you to do so?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Your Honor, I pass.
So that part's interesting, right? Because basically what she's asking the woman is like, you're giving up the option of collecting $311,000 as well as another roughly $30,000 for the medical part of it. And then he's still going to be on the hook for about $19,000 in medical costs because they're not going to release that under any circumstances. So he'll still have to pay that. But that $19,000 sounds a lot better than $311,000. So she's asking her like, yo, is this guy threatening you? Did he send ninjas to your house? Is he got your mom held up at gunpoint saying if you don't release this 311, I'm gonna kill your whole side of the family? So that's kind of what she's asking there, because this is very uncommon, and she's doing this freely and willingly for whatever her reasons are. But I believe they're reasons that are good. Let's continue.
Ask this witness.
All right, ma'am, I'll be back in just a moment. You call your next witness, Ms. Bongott. Thank you.
The state calls Keith Gott. Sir, what is your full name?
Keith Lee
got to say.
Gott,
How are you related to the two children in this case?
father.
And sir, is it correct that under the final decree of divorce, you were the person ordered to pay support in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, those payments of yours were supposed to come through the state disbursement unit?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, are you in agreement with the amounts of arrears shown on the state's payment history as of February 28th of 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you able to hear Ms.
Hold on, we got some more text here. Let's read this one real quick. So we're learning right now, team. So that's why I'm reading this text, because they flash on really quick, and these are good things to know. So final orders are much different than temporary orders. As the name suggests, they are final. Your case is resolved and no matters are pending with the court at that time. Future issues that may arise must be addressed separately. The law provides multiple paths towards amending a final order, whether that be through appeal, modification, clarification, or a subsequent agreement between the parties. So basically all this is explained is that when you get a final order in court, that is final under every circumstance. So you're due to pay that money. However, you can appeal it or try to have it modified. But when you go back for that second time, if they deny it then, there's no going back. So that's kind of all this is explaining. And, temporary orders is obviously temporary, hence the name.
McCarty's testimony, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any problem with her releasing all of the arrears that she is able to do so?
No, ma'am.
And
Yeah,
sir,
of
you
course
understand
not.
that there would be a remainder medical support judgment of $19,830.34.
Judge, my physical,
yes,
mental,
ma'am.
And sir, do you
as
have-
well as my mental fitness.
Have any preference as to what repayment amount is set in your case?
Is this when I would tell you what I told you before about?
Yes, sir. Any
I still
information
help
you
my
need.
kids. I still help my kids. I send their mom $300 for insurance and living, and then I still help them also with about $300 a month. So it leaves me around $200 and some change a month. So just taking that in consideration, I just don't want. I hope the amount's not more where it takes away from my kids till we get them on their feet.
And sir,
Bro, this dude right here, man. I love you. He ain't been with this woman in years. And he's still, after the kids are out of the house, still shelling her out $300 a month, right? Now, let's give him... See, here's the problem with this is like, she actually... She's clearing the debt though, right? Like she could keep him under lock and key and they would just siphon his money from his account and or put him in prison if he didn't pay it. So she's basically trusting that he's going to continue to pay, and I don't think he won't. It's just a very interesting case. Now, you know what? We'll get to it at the end. We got like a few more minutes. Let's just finish this.
is it correct that the SSI is your only source of income?
That is correct.
Was there anything else, Mr. Gott, you wanted the court to consider at this time?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, I pass this witness and the state rests.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Mr. Gott, I understand the circumstances, and I wish you had more money coming in, sir. But the bottom line is the interest on that $19,000 is about $90 a month. And I've got to cover at least the interest, so I'm looking at $100 a month payment. I got no way around that one.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't think you'll ever be able to pay this off, but it won't go up. Okay. And
Yes, sir.
main thing.
Bro, the judge is a savage, bro. We gotta hear that one again. The judge is keeping it real though.
I got nowhere around that one because on that 19,000 is about $90 a month. And I've got to cover at least the interest, so I'm looking at $100 a month payment. I got nowhere around that one because obviously I don't think you'll ever be able to pay this off, but it won't go up. Okay.
Damn.
Yes, sir.
That's the main thing going forward. So I'm Ms. McCarty and Mr. God, I'm looking at approving your agreement. I'm going to release the entire amount of child support as requested by the mother. I'm going to go
As
ahead
requested by the mother.
Release what she can, allow the release of what she can as far as the cash medical is concerned. I'm going to reduce the remainder of the cash medical to the 19,000 and change that was requested by the state. And I'm going to go ahead and order repayment of that at $100 a month, starting the first day of May going forward. And based on the fact, sir, that your only income is SSI, I'm going to look at, I will order no court costs that you don't have to pay any court costs. And of course, Ms. McCarty doesn't have to pay any court costs. Is there anything else?
Thank you, Your Honor.
I need to rule on specifically, Ms. Bongat?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then, may Mr. Gott and Ms. McCarty be excused, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you both folks very much. Good luck. And Ms. McCarty, based on the income.
Thank you.
We got some more text right here. Let's read this real quick. So, a parent's obligation to pay child support does not automatically stop when they are incarcerated. The only way to stop or change the court-ordered amount of child support is to ask the court to change the order. I don't know why they're saying this. I don't think it pertains to this case specifically, but they're just throwing fun facts out there. And it's cool to know. The more information, the better. Whether you use it or not, it's still good to know things. You can always incorporate it one way or the other.
Yeah.
I usually have a joke going that the next 30, this order becomes final in 30 days. So if he hits the lottery in the next 30 days, Mr. McCarty, come back in and we'll reinstate that money and get you the money.
All right.
Mr. McCarty, Mr. Gott, don't be playing any lottery. About $1 okay, only. All right.
Hey, I'd give it to her anyway.
Understood, sir, and the kids. So yeah, we're off the record. Thank you. And y'all
Thank you both.
Are we done?
Yes, sir. You're free to go.
Okay, thank you.
Yo, shout out to my mans. Like, shout out to the woman. Shout out to McCarthy. Let's actually pull them. Let's keep them back on screen for a little bit while we talk a little bit, team. Yeah, I think McCarthy, Amanda McCarthy is dope.
Stop.
I can't help it, Amanda. Like, what you're doing is just so great as far as setting a precedent for how women should treat men that are constantly trying to take care of their kids against all odds with the government trying to siphon $311,000 for them. So you are a wonderful woman.
Stop.
Okay, you're probably right. You're probably right. I should stop. You've probably done a lot of devious things within your life. However, I'm still going to give you credit for this because it's something that you did not need to do. Or, that woman did ask her, though, if, you're doing this under threat. And, shoot, I don't know. But, he basically said, this is what he said, though. He said, I'm getting $800 a month. I'm giving $300 to the mom, like just straight cash to do what she needs. But I guess it pays for insurance and stuff. Then I'm giving $200 to the children. My question is this, though. How did he end up $311,000 in debt to begin with? Right? Let's actually break that down real quick. Let me just do the math because I wasn't really sure. But I want to look at what the math is on that. So how do we break that down? Would that be, let's just go 300 and, we'll go 311. And then we'll divide that by 18 years. Just go 18. And, okay, that's $6,000. That's $16,000 a year. He had 2 kids. So we're going to split that in half to 16. So we're going to say, divide that by 2. So he was set to pay the kids $8,300 $8,336 a month. No, a year. A year. 8,000. So, okay. Well, then let's break that down into 12 months. And then let's see how much it was a month. So, oh, I split it in half already. Okay, so we'll go 12. So basically his child support payment for each kid was just under $694 a month. So let's just call it an even $700 a month for each kid. So he was paying, or supposed to pay, $1,400. That's assuming it was from birth, but it probably started less. So he's probably paying more. It's probably closer to like $1,500 a kid or something, because you got to think they were together when the kids were first born. So we're probably looking at, this is probably from like age 7 or something when they split up. I'd assume they made it at least like 4 to 7 years. So, I mean, but if it was just from age 0 to 18, he was set to pay $1,400 a month in child support to his kids. That's what 311 adds out to. And let's keep in mind that he actually paid down some of that 311, because they had a big, thick file of all the payments that he's paid to the state to disperse in child support. Not only that, he was also getting taxed, or I guess, what's the word when the mafia extorted for money for kids that he already pays for, where, child support, when they take your money, they actually make money off of it. That's why they hold your money, because that's why they don't want you to pay directly to the mother or the father in small cases. But they don't want you to give a check directly to the mom, which would be way more efficient and faster. They want you to give it to the government first, so the government can make money off of your child support payment as far as, interest and invest in it. And then they'll disperse it to the mother after they made their coin off it. So it's kind of messed up. But what he was doing was not only paying as much as he could in child support, but also taking care of everything else that he was able to. So he must have had a good job before he was on SSI. And, the mother just realized it. And I think like that's how it should be. I think child support is a slippery slope. I think that it's a terrible thing under most circumstances, especially in my generation, right? Like, we take care of our kids. I don't know, like back in the past, it was probably like guys that didn't take care of their kids, maybe not, crack era and stuff. Guys were going to prison and all that. But, I don't know no bad fathers. I'm going to be honest. Like, the guys I know, which is a good amount of them, like, they're great fathers. Like, I got a player on my basketball team. He comes there with his whole family. He brings his whole family to the games. Kids and all, girl, everything. Excellent father. Great, well-behaved kids. Just a great person in general. Like, never, didn't take responsibility. And, I just think that's what the fathers are doing now. So, shout out to Mr. Gott. Shout out to Miss McCarthy. I'm glad that they're working this out, and they want to get the courts out of it as much as they can. Now, the last part about this is, I think it sucks that the $19,000 that he owes can't be removed as far as the medical costs, because he's just going to pay interest on that. Like, the balance at the amount that he's set to pay is not going to move at all. He's going to owe that same $19,000, because why they're putting interest on it is beyond me. I don't really understand why the government puts interest on things like that. It doesn't make any sense. I guess they're trying to account for the inflation that they created. Like, we got to put interest on your payment, or else we're going to end up losing money, because we keep on making inflation skyrocket. So if you just paid us the true $19,000, it would be like you paying us $10,000. So we're going to need you to pay us $40,000 to account for us skyrocketing everything as far as the price that we need to pay just to live in America and operate. So, it's all bad. But I just want to give this woman a shout out. I don't think that she's completely innocent in all this. but she made a decision that you probably won't see very often from most women. Now, I did check out the comments. There aren't very many on this video, but let's check them out real quick and see what we got. Let's see. Because I thought that some of them were interesting because it's completely different than what I am seeing. So look at some of these comments right here, right? How is he not in jail? Right? I guess he never paid child support. In NY, he would have spent a big portion of his adult life in jail. And how does that help? How does it help for this man to go to jail and he's doing everything he can within his means to support his kids? How is he not in jail? Can't even spell. How is he not in jail? This is disgusting. And no way would I ever forgive that amount, especially if I had to struggle and support my kids all by myself all those years. Tracy McDonald, 7949. Terrible person right here, Tracy. And honestly, like, how does it help to put him in jail? What they're failing to realize is that he had a big, thick book of payments that he was making, and he was paying more money outside of. I'll be honest with y'all, team. A lot of the times, if a woman has any type of a good man in her life, child support is a negative for her because she would get more money out of the guy if child support wasn't involved at all. I know it's like that for my kids. Like, no child support involved makes it so much easier for me to be able to operate and work with. What child support does and having the government involved as a middleman in your relationship does is it creates a divide between you two. And it creates a lot of vitriol and disdain for one another. And because of that, you don't want to do what you're capable of doing because you're disgruntled. You're like, why the hell why are you double dipping? Why are you calling me when the kid needs a car, when the kid needs a new pair of shoes, but I'm also paying you child support with interest? It makes no sense. So child support says I need to give you $500 a month. So that's all you're getting. If I wasn't on child support, I'd probably be giving you $1,100 a month because I wouldn't even be keeping track of it like that. And trust me, the government knows this. They want us isolated. They do not want us as a family, and they want us to be at odds with each other because we're not as strong when we're an individual. Like the 5-finger rule, I can break my finger, no problem like this. If I just want to grab my finger and break it, no problem. But if I'm doing this, it's a lot harder to damage this, right? You can't really damage a fist, right? But if your fingers are like this, they're weak. And that's how they want us. They want us like this so they can break us one by one. And we're not there to protect each other. So, you know, that's part of it. And I think it's awful. Let's read a couple of these comments, then we'll get out of here. Let's see. Never once paid child support. Maybe he didn't. But the mother understood that he's been paying way more money. She probably calculated it like, this dude probably paid me like $500,000 over the kid's lifetime. Not only that, he's saying that he's been paying her directly, like not just giving it to the kids, but giving it to her. So he's been helping, and he's still doing it. Unlimited income. He said he's got $200 left over for him. I don't even know how he's alive. Like, honestly. Anyways, what else we got? Pointless case. Let's see. At this stage, either move to Mexico or declare bankruptcy is the only option. You can't declare bankruptcy from child support. Nixter 01. It's the same as like student loans. You can't wipe that off with a bankruptcy. It stays on your not only credit report, but just as a debt no matter what. How is he supposed to pay anything on $200 a week? Well, that's $200 after he's paid everything. Well, as far as his kids and a woman. He gives them basically $500 of his $800. Maybe a little more. Texas has designed this system to bash men at any and all opportunities and make it worse by pointlessly putting them in jail. Why does anyone live in this police state? Yeah, putting them in jail is stupid. It doesn't really make any sense. And then this Barbara Winters 646 calls him a bum. Well, he doesn't really need to be a bum, in all honesty. I mean, he could keep his whole 800 and live off that and not send 300 to her and 200 to his kids right now. He just had all of his money wiped out as far as what he owes. And now he just has to pay interest at basically $100 a month. So he can pocket, he gets 800, he can keep that other 700 and just say, screw all of them, but he's not doing that. And, you know, that's the sacrifice that he made. So let's see. We'll go into undirected perspective. We're gonna go light for this, and the reason we're going light is because it was kind of a win. It was kind of a win. I think that we got to be a lot better as men. So
you must unlearn what you have learned.
And you're probably wondering,
what do you mean?
Well, it's this, guys. Like we spoke about the whole thing. As far as you should definitely, if you're choosing to have children with a woman, get married because you want to have those legal rights. Because what happens then is you have a better opportunity to avoid child support in those situations because you're going to have 50-50 custody to begin with. So not saying that won't happen. There's always that risk, but you're going to have more rights as far as who they recognize as the parent to begin with. Because if you're unmarried and she decides to put you on child support, you're going to be facing an uphill battle and you're not going to win. So that gives you at least some type of leverage. And also it's just the right thing to do because, it recognizes you not only through the state, but just publicly of your relationship with the woman and your relationship with your children. And public opinion means something. It really does. So, that's what I got for that. What else do I got? I think that, through all of this, we just kind of learned that, child support is a terrible thing. And you don't really see any women. I mean, we just read the comments, like 90% of the comments basically said, like, I would never, ever, under any circumstance, forgive the debt that woman did. So, just shout out to the small percentage of women that are out here trying to do the right thing and that are just good people, because that's all it really takes. And the more kind we are to each other, the more forgiving we are to each other in most circumstances, the better we are. And you could tell that Mr. God is a good man and he was doing the best that he could with what he had. And, so shout out to him. I think we're going to get out of here with that one, team. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the best audience on the internet. Like, share, comment, subscribe. We learned some things in this video. I hope y'all like this content. If y'all do, I'll do more of these court cases. I actually got a couple more queued up, so we'll kind of play around with that. But, we are the undirected team, so we do a lot of different things. And, we just have a lot of fun on this channel. So, until the next one, team, I'm out of here. All right, y'all. Damn, Mr. Gott. You ended up 311 in debt. Sheesh. Wow.